Hello, I am back with new hair. Probably spun around a little bit too quickly, but anyway, yes, I decided to chop off my hair and said to the barber, because like when you do a shortcut, particularly when you're doing black hair, you've got to go to a barber. And he was like, "What colour are you thinking?" I was like, "Well, you can bleach it to start off with, and then we can think of a colour." And he's like, "Right, I've got just the colour." He said, "Do you want to like choose?" And I was like, "No, go with what you want." So this is the colour that we ended up with. So yes, I'm feeling myself. And then I was in TK Maxx and bought these glasses, which are literally fashion only. I can't see a damn thing. So they're not prescription, and I do wear prescription glasses only when I'm watching TV or driving. But when you try them on, I was thinking, oh my god, I look so damn good. I'm buying them, and they had like the red sticker, which, as we know, is TK Maxx reduced. So here we are with my glasses. Anyway, I had a fabulous 2 weeks off, and you know what? I'm glad I did. And the reason why I say I'm glad I did, because even though I didn't go anywhere, and I was part of me was debating whether or not to even take the 2 weeks because I'm not going anywhere. It's going to be a staycation. Normally, I would be in some different country soaking up the sun rays, but clearly that's not happening. And but I did need a break, and I needed the break that comes with. So I was off the grid, so there was no socials, nothing digital. I even deleted WhatsApp, so I didn't have WhatsApp on my phone. I still don't actually. It was like old school. So basically, my smartphone became a Nokia 6310. Do you remember those lines? Really old school. But all you can do is literally call me or send me a text message, and it was great. And I do think it's important because you've got to practice what you preach, but particularly when you're trying to do so much, and part of me was thinking like, oh God, like if I take off 2 weeks now, why don't I just like take a few days, then hit it and take a few days? And actually, I needed the 2 weeks. It's important. And fundamentally, like you've got to play the long game. And I had to say to myself, Shireen, you're playing the long game, which means I can't be hitting it hard and being so involved and so on consistently without taking a break because I'll burn out. And if I burn out, it means I can't affect the change that I want to affect and keep like poking and prodding people to do better, and do differently if I'm tired and I'm not on my A game. And just as I was kind of like, what's the word? Like, I don't even know what the phrase is. There's a phrase, isn't there, when you're like demob happy. And somebody did say to me who she also runs her own business, and she was like, well, aren't you worried, because we were talking about some of the things that you have to think about when you run your own business, like what happens while you're away and what you when you're out of office. And she was like, well, I'm always worried about what I miss, or the fact that I've got to start again, not start again in like the literal sense, but like you lose the momentum, and then by the time you come back, everyone's like, oh, we've moved on to something else. And I said to her, yes, that's probably like it's a thought. But honestly, like, listen, the way the world needs to fix up right now, like this subject about racial inequality has not magically fixed itself in 2 weeks. So I'm not bothered about that. And what I said to her is, if you're talking about from like a almost like a brand perspective, well, my argument is, if you are pushing through while you're really tired, then you're not going to be giving the best of you anyway. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know the people that you might be switching off because of the fact that you're tired and you just need a bit of a break. So that's how I see it. And also, it's because of this new way of looking at the world and thinking about how I want to show up and the way that I want to do things. I recognize in myself that there has been times in my career when I haven't taken the breaks that I should. I haven't switched off in the way that I should. And even when I've taken time off, I've still been super connected. So I've been checking emails occasionally. I'd still be like WhatsApping, all day. So you're never really having time off. And the thing that I thought about when I did take myself off from the grid is like it takes a little bit to get used to, but you know what? Like it's freeing. And I don't know whether part of it is because of my personality, because like I do there's elements to me that's a little bit introverted, which means I get my energy from silence. So I do need to retreat to like my back cave and just have nothing, no stimulation, no people. As much as I love all the interaction and, but I do need a break from it. And I also need the break from feeling like I've got to be super responsive. And I think that's the thing for me. And, you know, whether I'll go back to having WhatsApp, I'm not sure because I actually like not being so accessible. You know, like old school, ring me, text me, or send me an email. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'll get to it eventually. But kind of having a little bit of that distance, I think, is a little bit healthy because before you know it, it can be all consuming. And so I want to just make sure that I can be present. And when I say that I'm taking time to just not do work and not be on and not be responsive, like I mean it, like I'm not like there checking my phone. Even Big M, which is like what I know my partner, he's like, "Oh my god, I've actually for the first 2 weeks you've not been glued to your phone." I'm like, I know, and actually that's really shit. So anyway, so the moral of the story for this nice, gentle video to A, introduce my hair, but B, to say if you need to take time for yourself to do nothing, and I did nothing, literally slept, went to the gym, watched a lot of television, and just like take the time and don't even feel the need to be productive because I did nothing. I did a little bit of like I did a lot of reading for pleasure. So I wasn't reading any books about racism. I wasn't reading any books about culture and leadership. I wasn't reading any books about business. I was reading a little bit because I realised I need to step up the thing with my accountant. So you know that was separate and that was a choice. It wasn't because I have to, but I had the mental space to be able to make a conscious decision. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do that. And zipped through a whole load of paranormal romance novels. So I was feeling well happy and got my hair cut. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I would highly recommend taking off the 2 weeks and the world will still keep spinning. And you know what? We've got to play the long game. We are all needed. And that means we need to take the time. So I'm going to be better at doing that. I'm probably going to like semi follow Tia's you know, school terms because you know like they do like 6 7 weeks and then it's like half term or whatever else, and then it's Christmas. Because actually I probably left it a little bit too long, if I'm really honest, because I can even see it in my face like I was tired. You know, not to say that I wasn't still giving it snap and fizzle, but I felt tired. Whereas now I'm like, I'll be spinning around on my stool because you know I like to spin around. I'll be spinning around on my stool and like showing you all different angles because my hair. And yes, so it's important. So that's my little gentle message for today. I've got so much to talk about, so I'll be back tomorrow. I've got a few live streams and a few panels this week as well. So it's like I've never been away. So I hope you've been well over the past 2 weeks, whatever it is that you've been doing. And yeah, it's good to be back.